You know, every week I believe that this week's opening is going to be different. We're going to talk about Carter Michael Dio. We're going to talk about Crantini. We're going to talk about somebody, but it's going to be short. And then I get thinking about all the things that are going on, all the things that are rattling around in my head. The sales of some horses coming up on Monday. Buying horses, like we did last week. The yearling sale said, we're going to wake up. You know, this summer is going so fast. We're going to wake up and it's going to be Kentucky week, right? We have 2 horses racing in Kentucky this week. The summer seems to be moving really fast. And I think for us it's moving fast because we're having a pretty good run. Nothing is perfect. We have some people that their horses aren't racing good, or some people that woke up this week to the fact that their horses are in the sale. And I think by now we all know why, right? I think I made a pretty convincing case. A pretty convincing case that this is why it's important for the stable to operate the way it does. Right? We get rid of horses that can't do. We bring in horses that can. We're not going to win on all of them. We're not going to lose on all of them. But hopefully we'll have fun along the way. And it's moving so quick now that even I, as I start this video, believe just get a few little things to touch on this week. Then I think about the 6 that are in the sale. I think about a couple that I'm watching on Gate. I think about the pedigrees that just showed up from the Ohio sale and Goshen. Now, those are the first sales of the year, and we don't really do a lot of business in those sales, but they're there. I'm going to look. I might buy, but they're there. Then I want to talk about the buckets. They went over so well last year. Man, that sun is bright, isn't it? Jesus. Retinas right at you. The way the buckets worked out last year worked out fantastic. We allowed people to say, okay, we're in this group, we're going to spend this amount of money. And you know what? They're not perfect either. I had a client send me a message this week and say, Anthony, I just want to buy trotting fillies. Can you just make a bucket for trotting fillies? No, I can't really just do that. But I can tell you that if you are involved with a bucket, maybe you don't know what a bucket is. maybe I should start there. So last year what we did was we had put together $400,000 for one, I called them buckets. And I was in charge of putting horses in those buckets as we bought them. Now what we did last year is we had, I think it was $350, something like that, $350,000 in one bucket. And then the other one, just so everybody could get involved, I had put maybe $100,000. We had 2, 3, 4 horses in the $100,000. We had more horses in the $350,000, and then we allocated one chunk of money. I believe it was $100 or $130 maybe for one horse. Now that one horse in Lexington turned out to be Una Madonna, who was a winner in the Jim Doherty the other night. Now we've sold her. We did very good on Una Madonna, and you know what? I felt bad because I did have a couple of clients that owned a few shares. You know, they wanted to hang on to Una Madonna, and at the end of the day, I left seeing things from an average guy, because I am an average guy. I have almost my skin, all of it, input into the stable. So I tell you guys all the time, I treat every transaction, whether we buy or we sell, as if it was my money, as if it was my horse solely. Yeah, how I believe everybody, what would benefit everybody. But if you're somebody that doesn't care about the money, then maybe you did sit home and feel upset that Una Madonna won the Jim Doherty elimination. Now, in fairness, we get $750,000 US, and most of you know that. Cat's out of the bag. That's what our clients had got for Una Madonna, which was a very handsome amount of money. In fact, quite an amount of money that I don't think anybody could realistically turn it down. So she's made 10 back of the 740. Is she going to get the same trip? I don't know, but she raced great the other night. Because she's a nice filly. Like, we didn't fool anybody. She set the track record at Oak Grove in 155-1 before we sold her. She's a legit good horse. But we have to make those logical decisions as we go along. Right? It's good for the stable. It's good for everybody. Now there will be a time when we buy an Una Madonna and she's just not for sale. I suppose. I don't know when that is. I don't know when I'll be comfortable saying that, but I suppose so. Anyway, getting back to the buckets. We had that six-figure horse, so to speak, as I talked about last year, and in Harrisburg it was Brace for Landing, and in Lexington it was Una Madonna. We sold Una Madonna. She raced great. You know, everybody's happy so far, for the most part, with Una Madonna. And I thought that went over really well this year. Really, really, really well. I had somebody send me a message today, it just spoke perfectly. The way you handled the Una Madonna situation in such a commercial manner was perfect. Pretty much what they said. I thought that was the nicest way to put it. I thought it was great. People are starting to pay attention to what we're doing and how we're doing it. And that's a good thing. Not just for us, because we did it, but for other people. Food for thought for other trainers and other owners, potential clients out there to say, I like what the stable's doing. And I like what the stable's doing, and you should too. So, we're going to have the buckets this year. I'm looking for your input. This is very important. Pay attention, please. I'm looking for your input. Whether you're somebody who wants to put a bunch of money into the buckets, or whether you want to put a small amount of money, I want to make sure that everybody has a voice this year. Because I want to get it right. I like the way the buckets worked. It allowed me to do my job to the best of my ability. As you can imagine, if we don't have any of the money rounded up, when I'm sitting there watching the horses climb, like Una Madonna, 70, 80, I'm thinking to myself, geez, there's that other horse, is this horse, am I gonna be able to sell this horse out? By giving me the confidence to go there and bid accordingly, it allows me to do my job to the very best of my ability. And I think we did a pretty good job this year, for the most part. Whether it be Carter Michael Dio or Una, right? Or Swinging Senorita in Ohio. Or any of the colts, Austral Hanover, any of those colts that come out of left field or were front and center all year long. I think buying the horses, training the horses, the stable.ca did a great job developing the horses that we bought this year. They weren't all great. But we had a lot of luck so far. And still more to come, I hope. So, I'm looking for your input into how the buckets work. The way I see it, truthfully, between you and I, we're all friends here. I think that probably having a bucket at $400,000 would make sense. Having a bucket at $150,000, and having another bucket for what I would think is fair, a six-figure horse. Now six figures might end up being $150,000, but our Una Madonna, so to speak. And I need to brace everybody for the reality in which that at some point we're going to buy an Una Madonna who's not a very good horse. The statistics are not in our favor, right? We bought 3 so far. In my life, I have bought 3 expensive yearlings in my entire life. 3 Point Blue Chip was the first one ever. Una Madonna was the second one. Brace for Landing was the third one. They're the only 3. Now, you haven't seen Brace for Landing yet. I've seen him. You're going to see him on the track next week. But those are the only 3 horses that I've ever bought in excess of 6 figures. So, statistically speaking, the odds are not in our favor that we're going to continue to do well. But at the same token, who's to say? That's the beauty of this game, is that no one knows. No one knows. And I don't think that could have been any more on display than the year that Austral Hanover was put together. Truthfully speaking. So you know what? We're going to talk about Austral Hanover. We're going to talk about the horses that raced last night. We're going to talk about the winners from this week. Horses that caught my eye. Horses that I thought looked very good. Horses you haven't heard of yet that haven't raced maybe once or not at all. Brace for Landing, Landing Strip. Those 2 horses are going to show up in the pop-up series this week in the Meadows. Big expectations from me to both those horses. One qualified in 57-1, running off, easy winner at the Meadows. The other one qualified in 58-3 at Northfield Park. Very happy with both of them. So we're going to start with the biggest news of the week. Obviously, yes, we won some stake races, but I'm going to be a little biased. Kings County, 51-4. You have a trotter. Who was he, like 6? A trotter that can trot 51-4. Not just win, but win in of the most dominant performances. The horse beat the Open at the Meadow, or at Scioto by like 6 lengths. A 10-horse field. It's an impressive mile. And whether it's Brett Miller or Dan Noble driving him, purple seems to be his color because he looks very, very good in Southern Ohio. Swinging Señorita was some kind of good this week because everything around her that day was horrible. Everything went horribly wrong. You know, my confidence was shot in the toilet. She made me look good. Swinging Señorita looked unbelievable this week. Austral Hanover, 2 years in a row we've won the Arden now. Once last year with Taiwan On, and this year with Austral Hanover. So I'd like to keep that road going in 2023. But quite frankly, one of the most impressive performances I saw all week wasn't a win. It was a 4th. Carter Michael Dio. He has scary speed and is a scatterbrain. He was great in Philadelphia, but he was bottled up in Philadelphia. Dexter cut him loose the other night, and that was impressive. He looked unbelievable. I talked to Ron Burke for about 10 minutes about that colt today. He said Dexter asked about putting a head pole on. I said, go put a head pole on. Do whatever you want to do. He said, man, he's got some kind of speed. So we're at the Adios Day, so congratulations to Ron Burke and Mark Weaver winning the Adios. That horse looked good. Chris Page drove him good. But we're talking about Carter Michael Dio. Carter Michael Dio looked fantastic. And, you know, I saw the elimination, same as you did. Yes, the winner looked good. Brian Sears sitting chilly in the bike, as he always does. But I gotta be honest, Carter Michael Dio, by an entire full second, I believe, had the fastest last quarter of the race. He came from left field, 8th, halfway down the lane, and in a matter of strides was in a photo for second. He looked absolutely incredible. So Kings County, Swinging Señorita won a sire stake. Austral Hanover won the Arden. Carter Michael Dio was 4th and looks very good coming into the final of Peter Houghton next Saturday. I hadn't talked to anybody yet. We don't have a table set up. We don't have a group area. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't have a horse in the handbar. Our horse got hurt. 3-point blue chip. Who starts jogging this week, by the way? I was just told. So I guess it'd be every man for himself, every man, woman, and child. We'll try and figure something out this week. It would be last second. I don't know what the Meadowlands has available. I don't know what we can do. But we'll see. I guess that's bad management. What else went on this week? Will 2 win Hanover? 2 in a row? Say what you want. It's been a long way to getting her wanting to win. She could have got beat the other night. Angrily. She could have got beat. She's never as good on the front. She's really bully right now. You know, you're 2-5. Nobody wants to leave into you. Nobody wants to leave into me. Maybe that's it. I don't know. 2-5, nobody wants to leave into you. So she ended up on the front. She won. She raced good. Week before, she raced better from Mike Wilder. She was awesome. 3 in a row, 2 in a row, heading into hopefully 3 this week. She's on a roll. Not what we expected, but she's on a roll. We'll see how she does. Slim Jimmy was second. Oh, we jumped over the old man. Patrick the Piranha A. That was one. Did you see the race?
No, I watched.
Oh my God Almighty! Yeah, I got to show you the race. The horse gets away 8th. He's gapped off by 2 lengths at the quarter, so he's almost 10 lengths off the lead at the quarter. He comes 3rd over. He starts him up. I see him switch his tail, so you can tell he starts him up 3 wide down the backstretch. Dexter Dunn shoves him 4 wide in the last turn. He's 4 wide for the entirety of the last turn of the race. Clears off the lead and wins by a head, 51-3. I don't know what it was, 50 something. Raced incredible. Just been, him and Kings County just very fortunate and lucky to have both those horses. Man, that's what horse racing's all about, right? Being able to acquire horses that just make your hair stand up, that give you goosebumps, put a smile on your face. That's what it's all about. I know you're going to find an industry full of people that tell you it's about making money. It's not. Yes, we're lucky. We're right now, those horses are doing well. But it's about having that thrill, having that excitement. And man, Kings County and Patrick DePrane certainly put on a show this week. That was impressive. Slim Jimmy, I saw Ronnie Rente. He goes, he raced good. I said, what about when Brett made you look silly? And Brett Miller's, he's good at this. So they were just starting to settle in, getting into the last turn, and Brett come 103 wide and jammed, pinned down. Ronnie goes, well, I don't know if I could have moved him. And he's probably right. It may not have been a good... Slim Jimmy's the type of horse where he'll tell you when he wants to start up, and if you try and start him up any earlier, you're going to have bad results. That's just how he is. And Brett backdoored him, and he got him good. Brett bull rushed him, cleared off the lead. Slim Jimmy wasn't going to run him down anyway, but the horse I thought raced pretty good, second at 55-4. His heels, his front feet are bothering him. So here's the problem with Slim Jimmy. Can't really put flip-flops on him because they're going to drive him up into his elbows. We already have elbow boots on him. He hits his elbows. So you can't put anything cumbersome and bulky on his feet. That will only get him up into his elbows even more. So now you're a bit handcuffed in what you can use. Don't want to use an ag bar. That'll help get him up in there. So I'd said to Jason, what about a circuit plate? I think that's what they're called, right? What it is just an aluminum plate that fits right underneath the shoe. A little bit of support for Jimmy's heels. I think what you see when you see him reaching and he's not really gathering speed or gaining ground, it's hard to discern what he's doing, but I think at the bottom of all that, his feet are sore. Once he starts to pick up speed, he'll come forward because he's a racehorse and he's tough, but his feet bother him. He hits the ground hard. He's got that big gait. And for horsemen out there, you might say, what about aluminum's on him? No, his feet get too sore, and then he makes breaks. So we have a full sweat shoe on him right now with a little grab. I'm going to put those circuit bars on him next week and see how he is with those on. I think that's the first place to start with him. And some people might say, why don't you just train him and see how he is? Guys, you have to understand, for those of you out there that think you can train a horse in 210 and know how he's going to race in 55, you're wrong. It just doesn't work that way. And you need to see a quarter in 27 and a piece. And it's not always beneficial to try and put one into him in between starts. To start a horse up to go a quarter in 27 and a piece in between starts takes a lot out of them, right? And it's not something we want to do in the middle of summer with Slim Jimmy. So we're going to aim for what I believe is probably, Jason and I went back and forth with a number of shoes. And I think the best way to start, especially since we don't want those flip-flops on in Scioto to begin with, so we're looking for something a little more stable, something a little more stationary. So we're going to go with the circuit plates for him. I almost dumped that right in my shirt. I would have thrown it right out the window. I would have been doing the rest of this video bare-chested. So Will to win Hanover. Patrick DePrane was great. Slim Jimmy was great. I didn't talk about last week much. I never got a chance to talk about Tactical Mounts, how professional she looked. Brett moved her first over. That's what an age horse will do, not a 2-year-old. And maybe you can with a 2-year-old, but you won't see them fight tooth and nail all the way to the wire and then come out on top. Not very often. That was a gutsy performance. It wasn't a big mile. It was 2-1 in the pouring rain. But the way she did it was just so impressive. This is a filly that I had really high hopes for. And it's not that she's dashed them. She doesn't let me down. But I thought when it was come time to qualify, she just didn't feel like she was ready to do what I wanted her to. She just wasn't there yet. So we took our time. And I know that it's hard to quantify, and it's hard for me to explain to our clients sometimes. It's hard for me to tell you why Landing Strip needed more time. It's hard for me to explain to you why Tactical Mounds needed more time. Speed-wise, she qualified in 2-2 in June. Why isn't she ready to go? It's the way she qualified in 2-2, right? A little ornery, a little hot, hard to handle, hard to deal with, not very flexible in the way she was allowing us to race her. You just have to work on it. She's schooled 5 times since that day she qualified. And that gate work paid off. You saw her the other day. Took her off the gate. She was hot as hell when I went with her. Brett took her off the gate. Got away last. Got jammed up a little bit. Moved her to the outside. And of course, no cover. So he just continued on his way. First over the whole way. Got to the leader. Paul Walker's colt or filly. They battled tooth and nail to the wire in the pouring rain. 2-1 and 4. last half in 59, and she looked incredible. She was awesome. Very impressed with her. And then I got to see Cutie Cumber qualify this week. Now, Cutie Cumber, I quietly had her slated to come to Pennsylvania to race in the Pop-Up Series next week. Now, I got looking at bloods. We drew 4 bloods today, and all of them had reverse differentials. You guys have heard me talk about that in the past. Now, when you look at blood work, was there like 5 levels in McMaster's blood work?
I think so.
And the first 2, they should be virtually 60, 40, 0, 0, 0, but they never are. They're like 50, 38, and they'll monocytes, you'll have some counts and whatnot. But when the top 2 are flipped, first thing, the horses are terrible. They can't race at top speed. They don't race good with their differentials flipped. Secondly, it usually means they're getting sick or getting over the virus. Now, the fact that Cutie Cumber just qualified the other day and qualified decently would lead me, was she a little under the weather when she qualified? Or is she getting something? It's hard to say. We gave her a shot of an immune booster, which is the same as us getting a shot of immune booster, which nobody knows. Is it going to help? So we'll see. We'll draw her blood again Wednesday and look at that differential. If her blood is good on Wednesday, she might come to Pennsylvania. Now you might be smart enough to think to yourself quickly, Anthony, don't they draw before Wednesday? They do. So I'm going to have to think. Today is Saturday. I guess we could draw it first thing Tuesday morning and rush it to the clinic. I think the box closes at 9. Costas doesn't even open until 9:30, does he? Yeah. We'll see. I'll get an update from Dominic about how her eating is, how she's feeling. Maybe we will enter her in the Meadows, and maybe we won't ship them until Wednesday, until we get their blood back. And if her blood's not good, we'll just simply scratch her. I think that's the only fair thing to do. There's no point taking her blood Saturday, seeing her differential flipped, and then taking it Monday and think it's going to be flipped back. It doesn't work that way. You have to go easy with her and work on her all week. Wednesday would be a fair enough time. I think 5 days to do the blood. That's fair. Maybe that's what we'll do. So we will enter tactical mounts at Mohawk on Thursday. She doesn't get in on Thursday. The next day they draw for the Pop-Up Series in the Meadows. So that's where we're at with those horses. You can see we're trying to move our horses around right now. We got leaps and bounds down to Kentucky. She's 8-5, going for $15,000 on Sunday or Monday in Kentucky at the Red Mile. Blue Bayou Dio's in, so we got our Kentucky horses down there so far. I'm looking to send Walk on the Moon to Plain Ridge with Mark Beckwith, so I know that maybe that's the first you've heard of it. My partner's on Walk on the Moon. Walk on the Moon is going this week to Saratoga with the intention of racing him in Plain Ridge, his first start. There's nothing for him at the Meadows. There's nothing for him at Northfield. There's nothing for him at Kentucky at the Red Mile. He's going to Plain Ridge. We could have sent him home. There's not much at Mohawk for him either right now. So, Walk on the Moon. We're going to move him around. I think we're going to send more than you know at Silent Assassin to Megan Schramm. Megan Schramm. She's going to race Silent Assassin on the 8th. I trained her the other day, 2-2 last half in 59 seconds. She was good. Very happy with Silent Assassin. Back the way we had her. I was happy with what I saw. She's going to Monticello. More than you know, I think, as we stand right now, is going to go to Megan also, and she'll race him at the Poconos next week. Now, he's a little torn. More than you know, still fits a Pop-Up Series here, but if we forgo the race at Poconos, that's it for his staking this year. There's no sire stakes. There's no Stallion Series. And I think if he can go down there and throw up a 1-2 in the Stallion Series, maybe he makes the final. I don't know. Possibly. I guess I got to sleep on it, but right now that's what I'm leaning towards. And then, of course, we'll have Brace for Landing and Landing Strip on the Colt side. That's where they're going to be going. Can't wait to race those 2 Colts this week. Probably my most anticipated thing this week. There's a lot going on, as there is every week, but my anticipation this week, yes, I want to race Swinging Senorita. Yes, I want to race Sweet on Pete and get her back on track. Yes, I want to race these horses and get them going properly. But quite frankly, my anticipation lies with Landing Strip and Brace for Landing. I can't wait to race them on Friday. So I don't even know, as I say Friday, I don't really even know what my week looks like. Monday I'm at Mohawk. Of that, I'm certain. Tuesday, I'm going to spend with Oliver in Ohio. Ollie's going to come for a trip with me to Ohio. Where does that leave me? Wednesday I have to be at... I know that people have asked me Bowling Green. Why are we at Bowling Green with... it's a great question. Why are we at Bowling Green with Coupe de Ville, globetrotting sister? Simple. I put the hobbles on her. And Ohio is still one of the places where you have to race them with the hobble, qualify them or race them at a fair with the hobbles on or off to get them removed or added. So she's going to Bowling Green. I don't think I can be there on Wednesday, so I've asked Donnie Irvine to drive globetrotting. That shouldn't be a problem. And then I believe we'll be heading, that's Tuesday, I'm sorry. Wednesday, we're going to have Real Fear racing in the fair in preparation of the Buckeye event at, where the hell is that fair at? I keep forgetting, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's the one at the fair track. Anyway, Victor Cruz and Real Fear will be racing at the Bowling Green Fair. Also, just getting a trip into both those horses. As I said, Real Fear, he's really close to being gone. So that's it for this week. That's it for an opening. I think I was happy. I know a lot of people had questioned Rosita's Dream. He's drifting across the track. He's doing this. Yes, he's trying to do his best in Illinois. And I think that Jim Eaton did a great job with Perluck. He was third. Clearly, he's running out a little more than running in, and on a mile track that doesn't help. He's going to have to work on that. Springfield is the next fair, or the next stake race for GJ's ATM and Rosita's Dream. I'm going to try and go to Springfield. I've never raced at Springfield. You ever been to Springfield? I've never raced at Springfield in my life. Neither has Jared, apparently. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. Brian Hockman said I got to fly into St. Louis and go from St. Louis. So that's on the 12th. I know on the 14th, that's when our Colts race back in Pennsylvania at the Poconos. I'm probably going to go to the Poconos. You're going to see Mark McDonald drive Crantini, and you're going to see Anthony McDonald drive some horses also. That is the night, though, that Swinging Senorita races also. So Swinging Senorita will need a driver. The good news is Swinging Senorita is pretty push-button. She's already raced well for two other drivers. Hunter Myers was a winner with her, and Brady Brown was second. So it shouldn't be a problem, I'm sure. Brett, I'm sure anybody would love to drive the first or second best filly in Ohio. So we'll see. I'm sure Brett will be happy to, or anybody for that matter. So that's the 14th, and there's a lot going on in between. So right now, my challenge to you, my question to you, our clients, what would you like to see from the buckets this year? We are going to have them. I do want to make sure that we have people and money in place as we go to the sales. Last year, it was a huge success for us. It allowed me to do my work. I think we did very well, very good work when you look at the results so far. And we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of days. Now, my plan was, we've been sitting on our contracts that I've been working on over the last 6 months. Unfortunately, those contracts were started by the late Bob Burgess, who was a very good friend of mine, and his partner-in-law had continued to work on those contracts with me. We'd like to unveil those August the 1st. For most people, it's for everybody for the most part. It's not going to bother anybody. It's not going to interfere with anybody on the stable.ca. But at the same token, they do need to be out there. And then also on August the 1st, we plan on unveiling the buckets, at least the start of the buckets. This year, Eric and Kelly had worked diligently to try and figure out a way to bring them to everybody so that it was easy to work on and easy to traverse, easy to get into, so that nobody was left out. I thought that was the number one thing I wanted this year, was that everybody had a chance to get involved. And I think by unveiling them in August, that's exactly what we're going to do. So let me know what your thoughts are, though. They're not signed and sealed. They're not stamped in stone. They're not, they're not ingrained just yet. It's a work in progress. I think last year we had a lot of luck with the way that we played, both in Lexington, Ohio, and Harrisburg. So my challenge to you is, what say you? What do you think about what we should be doing heading into the fall sales? Mainly the Ohio sale, then Lexington. What do you think? So let me know. As I said, I'm going to continue to work on a couple of videos as we drive down the road here. We're still another 45 minutes from Northfield Park, so lots of time to get some videos done and engage you in what you think about how things are going so far and how they should go in the fall. Take care.